What's up, world, and welcome to What Time It Is, your one-stop shop with your one-man band, Wade Mack. And this evening, I got a special guest with me today, Teresa Music.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. And thanks for showing up. Well, showing up, right? Thanks for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. This is episode 3, and on episode 2, I was guestless, but not this week. I have a very special guest, Teresa, who's the host of Peaches and Cream, right?
Yes.
Peaches and Cream. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Peaches and Cream.
Oh, Peaches and Cream has been in the making for the last 6 years.
6 years.
6 years. We recently started a very new era, though, of Peaches and Cream that I'm very excited about. But it's me and 2 of my closest friends. So shout out to Ashley and Philly P, who are my co-hosts.
Shout out.
But it's basically a group of girls sitting around a table, having a couple drinks and talking about life, talking about pretty much anything and everything that comes up.
Yeah, very entertaining, I should say.
Thank you.
You know, even
Thank you.
me as a guy listening to 3 chicks talk, you know, it's not something that I mind doing, you know. It's a lot of stuff that y'all talk about I either gain knowledge from or game, I should say.
So
or,
true.
you know, I can just sit back, relax, and, you know, just listen to the conversation without really trying to gather too much from it. You know, it just grabs your attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all have really good chemistry on there. You know, I really like that.
It's a few years in the making, so
Yeah. You should be that way, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I guess you don't really get to talk much about, I guess, stuff that guys really like. But as a man, you know, men can still listen to the show.
Absolutely. Actually, men are a majority of our listeners on the show, so it's
That's
kind of
crazy.
nice that we talk about more girl type stuff, but that men are the ones that are mostly intrigued.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
cool.
nice. Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
So Peaches and Cream, and this is What Time It Is, and What Time It Is came from the creator of Peaches and Cream. She definitely was a big influence on me even starting the whole podcast thing. Usually I just did, you know, music that I just kept to myself pretty much, and she convinced me that I should do a podcast because I did a few episodes with them previously on a different era, you know, of
Yeah.
Peaches and Cream. Yeah, so...
I twisted his arm on multiple occasions.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It took me a while to get it, but, you know, I finally listened, and now we got What Time It Is. So me having you on the show is a great honor, and
Likewise.
yeah, I'm sure this episode is going to be a good one for the listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and we got the cameras set up 1, 2, and 3, right? We're trying to have a YouTube presence. It's not the most professional setting, but you know, it gives you something to look at least, and over time it'll get better. You know, I'll figure out better angles, better techniques, and you know, it just takes time with learning stuff like this because I'm brand new to all of this. So with getting started, we got sports that's going on, of course, the NBA playoffs that I'm really enjoying this year. And we have, you know, a little football news, no baseball news. Sorry for you baseball guys out there. But at least we have the NBA playoffs going on right now between Cleveland and Boston, which was Game 7 today.
Yes.
Shout out to LeBron James.
God.
You know,
I guess. Shout out to LeBron. He won the game today.
he won it. You got to respect it. You know, the Cleveland Cavaliers have definitely went through a lot of changes this year.
They have.
And that for them to end up in the NBA Finals is unheard of for a team that has went through a total transformation after the trade deadline. And a lot of that goes to LeBron James, of course, just because he's that guy that can carry a team.
He has to.
Yeah, and I made a comment today, you know, about LeBron and Michael Jordan, you know, great guys in their eras, you know, one of the greatest players, but like nobody really compares Jordan to Kobe.
And they shouldn't.
You know, exactly, because Kobe he was by far an iconic player, but not to the status of what Jordan and LeBron is. And, to be able to watch Bron do what he does now, I just hope I can remember it when I'm old and senile, and
Oh, I'm sure you will.
right?
Yeah.
I'll be able to talk about, back in the day, LeBron James, So just to go over a few stats, man, LeBron, he pulled off, it looks like 35 points. Of course, he's going to put over 30 most of the time. If he doesn't, they're going to lose. He has 15 rebounds, 9 assists. Very good. Who else do we have? I always say this guy. I want to say, okay, Jeff Green. Jeff Green, he had 19 points. Looks like 8 rebounds. Who else we had off the bench? Kyle Korver. He didn't really show up again tonight. 3 points only. Larry Nance Jr. only 2 points. The starters pretty much took care of the job for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Boston, they just looked a little short. They didn't have that same intensity that they played with in most of their home games, and it showed a lot.
Yeah.
They who we had their leader, Jason Tatum with 24. Al Horford with 17, in which Al Horford played really good in the first half. Second half, it looked like there were some adjustments made to slow Horford down because he was on fire in that first half. And 2 people that were absent was Terry Rozier and Jaylen Brown. Those guys have pretty much been on fire every game, even on the games they've lost. But tonight, when it counted, they did not show up, and
that's why they lost,
right?
Yeah.
And the commentary after the game was, they're not mature enough yet to know when to close a series, and who can say that they closed off a series and out of 7 games against LeBron James? That's pretty much almost impossible. So,
but Tatum is young too, and Tatum pulled his weight still today.
He pulled his weight today, but I don't know. It just wasn't the same Boston team.
No, it wasn't.
Really wasn't.
Yeah.
So 87-79, Cleveland Cavaliers wins Game 7. And they're headed to the NBA Finals to play. We have no clue out of the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors.
I hope it's not the Warriors. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that.
I hope it is, just because you want the best to play against the best. That's what you want in the finals. So last night, Golden State Warriors pulled off the victory against the Rockets, 115-86. The first half was very entertaining to watch. Second half, man, I'm telling you, the Warriors are that third quarter team that just takes off, right?
It's Steph Curry. He takes off in the third quarter.
Agreed.
I think the rest of the team plays throughout.
Right.
But because he gets hot in the third quarter, it does something to them.
Yeah, Steph definitely was on fire in Game 6. Who else do we have? Klay Thompson, of course. Now, he was the leading scorer, 35 points. Which is, it's not, it doesn't happen too often out of Klay, but that it can, especially with Steph out on the floor who had 29, Klay, he had that fire in him, he let it be known like he was there to play, and they were not going home that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Golden State really showed up. It looked like the Rockets were a little short with Chris Paul being out from a hamstring injury.
That hurts my heart.
I know, especially after watching them in Game 5.
Yeah.
Man, he really pulled off Game 5 and helped the Rockets get that victory. And they were short of Chris Paul, and James Harden he had his points. He came out with 32, 9 assists. But they came up short still, and that's just because you can't depend on James Harden to run the point for your team,
Sharing is caring, Harden.
Right.
Sharing is
he
caring.
was so stingy with the ball.
He was. Not in the first half, but eventually, yeah.
Yeah, first half, he distributed the ball very well. He got his other teammates, in groove, and they were scoring plenty of points, like Trevor Ariza with 14. Usually when Trevor Ariza can have more than 12 or 14 points, the Rockets, they do pretty good, and very disappointed in Clint Capella. That guy has been non-existent against the Warriors, and for what he's done all through the season to show up now and to just have his nuts tucked between his legs. That's
to put it mildly.
He is playing so soft and he's so spooked. And you got to give credit to Draymond Green. He did an excellent job.
I was about to
keeping
say
Clinton in check.
And not only that, he had maybe 5 or 6 really key blocks during the game.
Oh, Clint or
no,
Draymond?
Draymond,
yeah. Draymond's a beast when it comes to defense. Honestly, if I was on the court going against Draymond, I would be a little spooked too, But that competitive nature in me would make me want to go harder and not have my balls tucked between my legs. I would actually pull them up and show up in front of Draymond. So it looks like Clint just can't get over that psychological aspect that, because Draymond, he's loud, he's in your head, he's all over you, he's hitting you. He's telling you whatever he's saying in your ear, disrespectful, I'm sure.
He plays a very mental game,
yeah, and very physical as well. So that's kind of tough to deal with. So Clint, I know he's a young guy. He's up and coming, but these are the times where you need to show up, man. So hopefully in Game 7, Clint can be more of a impact for the Rockets. They'll definitely need him without the presence of Chris Paul.
Agreed.
Yeah, so very exciting series on both ends.
Yeah.
I really don't like watching the Eastern Conference basketball.
I don't either.
It's been pretty good, man. So
it hasn't been as messy as previous years.
Yeah, it looks so sloppy compared to the Western Conference ball. So exciting game coming up tomorrow out of the Rockets and Golden State. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're going to be in the NBA Finals. LeBron, this is his 8th visit in a row to the NBA Finals, and I'm excited to see that.
I know you are.
So in other news in the NBA, we have Sterling Brown of the Milwaukee Bucks, who got himself in, I guess, a typical situation as a black man in law enforcement.
What happened? I don't know about this one. Yeah.
Well, it was late at night. He was making a stop at Walgreens for whatever he needed, toiletries, snacks, ice cream, who knows. But he parks not parallel. Yeah, he parks parallel in 2 parking spots. Because, it's late at night, nobody's at Walgreens.
Right.
So he takes up 2 parking spots parallel, and he's confronted by, law enforcement. Now, later, after that happened, after he was confronted, Sterling Brown, now to paint a picture of this, his father was in law enforcement.
Okay.
So he knows how to behave when being confronted by law enforcement. So police show up, of course, cops back up other cops, police show up, and he ends up getting tased. Yeah, he ends up getting tased.
Wow.
Because the law enforcement said he was resisting arrest. But with the cop cam, it did not show that at all. But first off, in a lot of these situations, when I'm just going to say it, black guys, we put ourselves in the situations that we don't have to be in. If he would have just parked normally,
right?
Parked normally, even though nobody else is in the parking lot, there would not have been an altercation. But since you want to park parallel and take up 2 spots, of course you're going to be confronted.
Yeah.
And who knows what was said beforehand. They didn't show that. They just showed the excessive force with the tasing. He didn't resist, it looked like.
That's crazy.
He put his hands up. He wasn't talking back, none of that. And it was about 5 officers, and it really looked bad after the tasing. And of course he's what do you call it? I want to say seeking reparations. That's not it. What he's doing is, he wants to hold the Milwaukee Police Department accountable.
Yeah, as he should.
For the excessive force.
Yeah, as he should.
Yeah, and publicly, the police chief of Milwaukee Police Department, he came out and made a statement saying, he apologized for the the unfortunate situation, blah blah blah. but we don't know how far Sterling Brown's going to go with, with this situation.
Well, thank goodness for the cop cams, though. Now,
Yeah, thank goodness. They catch good stuff and they catch the bad too. And just being outside looking in, it was definitely excessive force. So,
yeah.
But like I said, just follow the rules. Park normally.
But I mean, you have to admit, though, if it was a white athlete who
Very
had done
true.
the exact same thing,
Very
the
true.
cops probably would have been like, "Hey, can I get your autograph?"
Right?
You know
Very
what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Instead of the way that they handled it.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate that's the way it is, but with knowing that, and your dad is in law enforcement,
Yeah.
maybe there's a sense of entitlement there, because his dad might have been I don't know if he's retired or not, but he's prior,
Right.
Prior service. Maybe there was a sense of entitlement to where he was like, hey, who my dad is? People throw that out there.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm just speculating, but just do what you're supposed to do. Don't put yourself in those situations to where law enforcement has to get involved.
It could have been avoided.
It really could have
Yeah.
been avoided. So, that happened, and I hope everything gets situated. It seemed like, the police department was very sincere about their apology. And, luckily Sterling didn't get hurt. So, we'll see how that plays out in the future. But in other news, what's going on in the NFL? We got NFL changes in rules again, which happens every year. What's this guy's name? I don't know his name. But the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, there we go. Forgive me, folks, man, my brain is slow. Roger Goodell and the powers that be have changed the rule to the national anthem. Okay? So a lot of people don't know that the NFL has a partnership with the United Forces. That's why they always have this big, spectacular presentation of the United States flag with the national anthem before the games. They have the jets flying over the stadiums and all of that. It's all because of the partnership. But since the whole kneeling situation from last season, this season they made a new rule saying that if you're on the field, you have to stand. You can't protest. If you feel a certain way about being out there standing, then you have the option to stay in the locker room. So what do you think about that?
So either they come out and just do what they normally do, or they stay behind, period, until the anthem is over.
Correct.
I feel like it's still going to cause controversy, because what if you have a team where, there's 3 people that decide to stand out there and the rest of the team is in the locker room?
Yeah. And that could cause controversy just simply because that shows a divide in your locker room.
Exactly.
And these teams and these owners, especially these owners, they do not want division in their locker room, especially amongst something that's political, or religious. You want your locker room to be like a brotherhood, so
Right.
even if, one thing that the United States is all about is, being of all colors and ethnicities, but still being able to stand together, right? Mm-hmm. This is showing the exact opposite.
Yeah.
That you cannot do that, even when you have a disagreement. And, it's sad, but, that's what the NFL wants. And I see how they're trying to keep things uniform. But if you really want to keep things uniform, just don't have your players come out at all. Let that national anthem be for the people that paid to be there and watch the game.
Right. Would they still allow the players, let's say the whole team did come out and they locked arms like the way the Cowboys do? Would that still be allowed?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the locking of arms is okay. I don't know the details about it. Mm-hmm. All I know is that nobody can take a knee.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So that change, it brought up a few talks, on ESPN that I was watching. And, they really didn't get into it just because, that was so last year. You know what I mean? That was so last year. Cap did his thing, and that's a-okay, and it cost him his job and his career. But other guys, they followed suit, and they did what they could. They protested as well, but now we see who's really in charge, and that's the owners of these NFL teams.
I still don't understand though, like why Cap taking the knee turned into what it turned into, because when Tim Tebow did it before Cap, in protest of abortions, people, called him a hero and said that he was standing up for something great, and he got deals because of that.
Yeah. And, Tim Tebow, if you don't know, Tim Tebow is a very religious human being. Even in college, Tim Tebow would take a knee in prayer. I've seen that during the national anthem, and he got no flack from it. But Colin Cap, he got a lot of flack behind taking that knee. And, I have an opinion about that too. I'm not going to go into it, but that's just the reality, depending on
what the cause is.
Yeah, the cause and the color of your skin.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, and you got to think these things through. I don't know if Colin taking that knee changed anything. It might have, maybe it brought more awareness to the cause that he was fighting for. I hope so. Or maybe it didn't, and it cost him his job, and that's unfortunate. So, big changes with the NFL, and we'll see how that plays out too, just simply because of that divide that can possibly be caused in the NFL. So, also, we got Terrence Williams of the Dallas Cowboys, who was arrested for a DWI. God. It's so easy to call somebody if you're inebriated or under the influence. Just come scoop me up.
Yeah.
That takes away from a lot of possibilities and troubles that can come your way just from one simple phone call. Anyway, Terrence Williams was in a small town outside of Dallas. I forget the name. Outside of Arlington. And he wrecked his Lamborghini, fled the scene, went home, and was picked up. And from his mugshot, you could absolutely see that he was under the influence. Did you see that?
I didn't see the mugshot, but I can imagine already.
From the mugshot, he looked like he hadn't slept in 5 days, and he had about 50 beers in that process. He looked trashed,
So according to his statement, he did not flee the scene. So a car in front of him tried to hard brake, and he swerved to try to avoid hitting them and ended up crashing his car. He said he called the tow truck, but the tow truck was going to take a long time to come. So a friend picked him up and took him home until the tow truck arrived.
I see.
So then when the tow truck was coming, he decided to get on his scooter and catch a ride down to the tow truck. And that's when the cops pulled him over, basically.
Yeah. So, and, car or scooter, you can't operate a motorized vehicle under the influence, So, again, all of that could have been avoided if he just simply would have called somebody, to just come scoop him up. He could have left the Lambo wherever it was and picked it up in the morning. I've seen people do that all the time.
The crazy part is, he almost got away with the driving under the influence in the car.
How so?
Because he got caught on the scooter. He got caught on the scooter.
I don't understand the thought process. And I know when you're under the influence, you're not thinking clearly, but let this be a lesson, folks. And this happens all the time in professional sports. People, they wreck their cars, if they survive, because there have been deaths, behind the wheel when people have had too much to drink. If they didn't hurt themselves or anybody else, it could have been avoided. I just don't get it. And it's happened for so many years, and it still continues to happen. And when you get caught, it's like you throw your hands up, like, what did I do? Or you try to blame it on somebody else. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just
Yeah.
hold yourself accountable, man. So Terrence Newman, big star in Dallas. Hopefully this just
Terrence Williams.
what did I say?
Newman.
Terrence Newman. Oh, because Terrence Newman is he's an ex Cowboy. So yeah, Terrence Williams, receiver for the Cowboys. Pretty good guy, man. He seems like a promising player for the Cowboys. Just stay out of trouble, man. It's real easy.
It's funny though, because he probably thought, I don't want to leave my Lambo here because somebody might do something to it.
But it's wrecked.
And now it's the Lambo's gone. You got arrested. Like,
just 2 L's off of something that was just so stupid that could have been avoided.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, in other news, we have, unfortunately, a mass shooting in Sante Fe, Texas. And I literally said this last week or last month that stuff like this does not happen in Texas. And
you jinxed him.
I did, and it absolutely happened.
Patting the cord, I can hear it.
Oh, there we go. It absolutely happened, and it's unfortunate. And just to say, Sante Fe, Texas is really close to where I grew up at in Texas City, Lamarck, and it was shocking. You come across it on the news and you see it, but you just really don't believe it. Just because it was so close to home. What about, you're from California. Has anything like this happened out there that you remember?
Oh, yeah. I think there was a situation that happened last year in Southern California that was similar. I don't know if there was as many deaths involved or anything like that, but I mean, they're all over the place now.
Yeah. It's becoming a common thing. It's happening every year. It doesn't matter if it's high school or college. Who's to say that it wouldn't happen in a middle school or elementary? Because it's so. I'm not sure about middle schools or elementary, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I think it has actually.
Yeah. So, the thing is, you just how can things change to make things better to keep people safe in a situation like that? And Trump. Months ago, it came out and was saying he's going to, work on things to get, teachers involved and get them armed in classrooms.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, we all know,
yeah,
you can train people, and teach them how to use a weapon. But when stuff goes down, you can't expect a teacher to take care of business to keep everybody else safe.
Right.
More people will get hurt, in my opinion.
I agree. I think so, too.
Yeah, so... hopefully that doesn't go through. I doubt it. It was just a little talk from our great leader Donald Trump, But the kid Demetrius, I can't pronounce his last name, Porgotes or something like that. I don't know how it's spelled, or I don't know how to pronounce it. But a 17-year-old kid, and he said he was going after the people that he did not like in school, and he spared the kids that he did like. So in the results of that, he killed 10 people, and forget how many they even said that he wounded, but
I think it was 13 wounded.
13 wounded. So he did all of that with a shotgun and a .38 revolver. And you have police officers in schools, and sometimes you just can't respond that fast, but something that I think that could prevent weapons from coming into schools are metal detectors, and Sante Fe is, I'm familiar with that area. I guarantee you they don't have metal detectors in their schools, to keep stuff like that out of there, because they're a predominantly white school, but if you go to, Southwest Houston, you go to their schools, there's definitely metal detectors, and there's absolutely dogs they're sniffing for drugs and, all other sorts of things, so it just doesn't matter where you're at. And unfortunately, stuff like this is happening at predominantly white schools, if you haven't
That's what I was
noticed.
gonna say. Usually the shooters are white
Yeah, they're
for the
white.
most part.
And the kid Demetrius, he cooperated with police. And I'm thinking, a thought of mine is these kids know that they can murder multiples of people and not necessarily get away with it, but they can keep their lives just by simply putting their hands up after they just mowed down 10, 20 people.
Yeah.
But I made a comment a while back about how it's so unfortunate that you can have a white kid mow down tens of people and keep his life, but you can have a kid of a different ethnicity
Holding a
not
cell
kill
phone.
exactly, holding a cell phone, not touch a
Yeah.
soul and lose his life. So what's the problem with that? We all see it. I'm not even going to get into the whole race thing, but I'm just stating facts. That's just simply
Yeah.
how it is, and that's what we see.
You have situations with kids, minority children with their hands already handcuffed that
Right.
are getting shot.
That's crazy.
But yet this kid who killed 10 people and hurt 13 more.
Right. And I'm sure he had not a bruise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a knee in the back.
Nothing.
The cuffs were probably on him pretty comfortably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, man. But this is what we're living in today, and
as parents, like, what can we do, like, to protect our children, especially those of us who do have minority children?
right.
Like, how do we get them? How do we prepare them for this? How do we help them avoid it? It's we can't do shit.
You're right. But the only thing we can do is have a conversation.
Yeah.
Have a conversation. Especially, man, I hate to say this, especially if you're black and the darker hue of black. Unfortunately, in my opinion, you can't get away with a lot of stuff that like a lighter skinned person could. So you really have to be on alert and, really mind your manners and just do what the officers say.
Yes.
Keep your hands up.
Yep.
Don't fight back. Don't talk crap. Just do what they say. Lay on the ground to where you can keep your life, because if they say stuff that you don't like, man, is that worth losing your life just because of that? I don't think so.
It's
So just surrender yourself. And again, don't put yourself in any situations like that, because we've heard all the stories, and some of them are questionable. Like, why was this guy even in somebody's backyard arguing with another person? You know what I mean? The guy that got shot in California, who I think he had a cell phone in his pocket and he was reaching for it and got murdered
in his grandmother's backyard.
Yeah, but he was arguing with I guess a girlfriend or somebody. Arguing and threatening. Neighbors are going to call the cops. And they're going to say what you're doing. And cops are going to come ready, especially if you're in that kind of neighborhood, So you just got to be aware of your surroundings, man. You just got to stop doing the stupid stuff, because you can lose your life for it, and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also, what's going on with all these sexual assault? What's going on with these situations? I got 3 cases here. Mario Batelli of Iron Shelf and the Chew, Matt Patricia, who was ex defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, now head coach of the Detroit Lions, and Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
These guys are dealing with sexual assault allegations. So you had a little info on the Mario Batelli situation, right?
Yeah. So I read an article where it stated that he had actually admitted to it and apologized for his actions. But he's lost his 3 restaurants in Las Vegas. They're closing next month because of this situation and the charges that he's facing.
And I wonder what exactly happened. Was it words that he spoke? Did he actually physically touch these people?
Right.
But is it worth losing what you've worked for all these years. You know, you're a rich person. You have the money. You can pay somebody
to be pleasured,
right? Or you know, if you want to role play and act like they're a total stranger, and if you're really into just those inappropriate sexual encounters, you can pay somebody to play that out for you. You know, and now it's it's to the point to where people are speaking out a lot more than in the past. You know, because of the whole Bill Cosby situation. You know, and with Matt Patricia. I had no clue that he was. This happened years ago, right?
22 years ago.
22 years ago, I had no clue of this situation, and charges were dropped, right?
Yeah, he was indicted, and the charges were dropped by the female in the situation because she felt it was too stressful for her to deal with.
Right. You know, and that's the case in a lot. That's the case in a lot of situations. You know. Victims, they want to not deal with it, so they suppress it. So I get that, but all these years later, it comes back, and it's at a time where he's becoming a head coach of an NFL team,
right?
You know, but the Detroit Lions are sticking by his side.
That's good.
You know, and he still has his job. So I don't know if this situation is still playing out between the assailant and Matt Patricia, but it looks like he's not gonna miss a day of sleep because he still has his job. You know?
And I mean, at the end of the day, this was a case that was
tossed at. It was looked at and tossed out.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So
and Morgan Freeman.
Poor Morgan Freeman.
Now with Morgan Freeman, I wouldn't think Morgan Freeman would do anything like this. Just like I didn't think Bill Cosby, right? But Bill Cosby, he was found guilty of it, and so it must have happened, and it was like 40, 50 something women that came forward.
Jesus Christ.
Saying
that's a lot of women.
That's a lot of women.
Well, Morgan Freeman's got about 8 or 9 right now that I've heard of. But one of them was complete BS. I've
seen that.
The video that came out. One of them's, I don't know if she's some kind of news reporter or something, but she was interviewing Morgan Freeman and 2 other actors,
right,
and claimed he said and looked at her in an inappropriate way. And they showed the video, and I was just like, girl, what are you looking at? Like,
right.
What?
Yeah, in the video, if you've seen the video, Morgan Freeman is not being inappropriate whatsoever.
At all. At all.
And before they showed the video, this woman was so serious and, talking like she was in fear of being raped or something at that moment. And you watch the video and you're like, are you serious?
Mind you, she said she was like 6 months pregnant too when it happened. So
6 months pregnant, not pregnant, whatever the case.
Right.
It was not that kind of situation at all. But what's funny is, she brought this story to whatever news station put it out.
And
they clearly seen it and still put out this mess,
I think they just wanted to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Just
or maybe be like the first to,
Yeah. And I'm, not to take away from the other 6 or 7 women that might be involved that maybe did have a bad encounter with him. We don't know, right?
Right.
But this one,
yeah.
Like she needs
this one
to
doesn't
stop.
count.
Yeah.
So if it's 9, it needs to go down to 8 because this one don't count.
Subtract that down to 8.
Yeah, that's crazy. But a lot of these situations are coming about, and I don't know if there's like a statute of limitations against, I guess, sexual indecency. I don't know what to call it, but years can pass and you can still come out and take someone to court behind these acts. So they have this hashtag Me Too movement, and that's just a outreach group that, they provide
support.
Yeah, they provide support for victims of sexual assault, because it happens in many different forms. and usually, people just don't like talking about it. And, that's with victims of all kinds of things. They don't come out and say exactly what happened when it did. They suppress it. I bit my tongue. They suppress it, and keep it from others. And over the years, it just does something to you.
Yeah.
And with the hashtag Me Too movement, it's giving people like hope to, or showing you that there are resources that you do have to get these feelings out, and you don't have to keep this to yourself. There's a support group out here to help you. And on the other side of that, I feel like there are women that are abusing this movement, just saying these crazy stories, in my opinion, just for a little airtime, or just to,
They're 15
taint
minutes.
somebody's legacy or careers,
They're upset about something, or, I mean, don't get me wrong. As a woman, there's a lot of situations that, we come across on a day-to-day where
Right.
men are very inappropriate and it's not welcomed in any way. But it's how we deal with those moments that can avoid something further.
Right.
And a lot of times, I think all women kind of do this because this is just how society is. Sometimes we kind of laugh those moments off when somebody's really inappropriate with us. It's like, haha, very funny. And we kind of walk away
That's
from the
true.
situation.
Very true.
So I feel like a lot of men think it's okay because of that. Not saying that it is okay, because it's not.
Right.
For people who are actually going through an actual situation. But this
Right.
girl, this news reporter,
Yeah, she needs to shut it down.
yeah.
She needs to shut it down.
Because that's this man's livelihood. It's his career. Like,
Yeah.
they're already trying to remove accolades that he's earned from him just because of the
Sad.
accusations. Not even because
Sad.
it's true or
Right.
false. Like, just because he's being accused.
Yeah.
And that is messed up if it is in fact untrue on all accounts.
Yeah, and who knows the true backstory? We won't know until these types of things go to court. And
But how can they prove that?
I know, I know. How can you gather evidence of these types of things? Like they're like physical evidence. It's all like he say, she say.
all of it.
Yeah,
All of
so
it. Yeah.
I really don't get it. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. But if you are somebody who goes through, some kind of inappropriate sexual act, there's definitely resources, and you should absolutely get that off your chest. Don't hold it in. Go seek help, and hold those accountable who behave in such a manner. So moving on, man,
We're done with bad news now.
yeah, we're done with bad news. That was a lot of bad news in
Thank
a row. So on a more lightning situation, we have Post Malone and his new album, Bentleys and Beer Bongs, which was #1 on Google Play and iTunes. Surprisingly, I did not expect Post Malone's album to even be so successful. I've listened to it, but before I listened to it, I heard the singles, and with those singles, I just thought, maybe it'll be all right,
Right.
We all like the singles that are out there, but when you listen to the whole album, I get it. It's a real nice groove and something that you haven't heard before, and with this album, it seems like out of the top 100, he has like six or seven songs, in the top 100 off of this album that get streamed.
He's got 5 in the top 25.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And crazy good, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like Post Malone isn't a talented artist, crazy in a good way, that so many songs are being streamed over and over and over because the people are they're loving it. So did you listen to the album?
I did listen to some more of it recently, and I actually like it. Like, he's got this good like groove. He's a little bit dark, so he's gone through some shit.
Right.
But like, for me, I don't know why, but he reminds me of T-Pain. Like,
Okay. How so?
It's like the style. It's not necessarily lyrically or melodically, but like just his style and kind of that bounce that he has to it, and the way you can kind of groove. And they use a little bit of auto tune in their style, and tweaking their voice a little bit for entertainment value. And not only that, but back in the bartender days that T-Pain had, like he was everywhere. He was
he sure
all
was.
over the charts.
I remember
he was featured and on multiple singles and things like that. So it's kind of like Post Malone is this era's new T-Pain. Yeah.
And that's not a bad category to be in.
Not at all.
T-Pain was killing it back in the day. I remember. And Post Malone, he's definitely doing the same thing. And he's a Texas native. A lot of people don't know he's from Dallas. I think his dad was he did something for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if he was like a groundskeeper or something, but he did a lot of work for the Cowboys for many years.
I figured out he was from Dallas when in one of his songs he talked about the Mavericks. I'm like, why?
Oh, did he?
Those guys are really irrelevant right now.
I guess he stayed true to his team because the Mavericks are so trash now.
Yeah,
they're so trash.
But he's a true fan.
Right, true fan. Even when they're down, he's still with them. I like that. So also we have the BIllboard Music Awards. Very entertaining. Did you get a chance to check it out?
So I don't really watch award shows anymore, just because I feel like they take forever and they don't really highlight the music the way that they used to. So what I do now is I literally just go watch the performances that I liked or that I was looking forward to watching. Yeah. And then I go through the list of winners just to see who won. And that's it.
Yeah. So who stuck out for you this year?
Well, I had a couple. I really liked, so Kelly Clarkson hosted. I love Kelly Clarkson.
That's your girl, right?
Yes, that's my girl.
Shout out.
She did like a mashup at the beginning, a little thing where she performed pretty much every nominee's big hit.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
J-Lo. I love me some J-Lo.
Yeah, J-Lo. I'm with you
up there shaking her ass to some dinero. So I love her. She's always, she's just a good performer because of her dance routines and stuff like that. So I definitely like that. I liked Camila Cabello. She had Pharrell with her in her first half of her performance, but she did her thing.
Yeah.
What is how do you say his name? Khaled?
I think it's Khaled.
Okay.
I think it's Khaled.
We'll go with Khaled.
Khaled.
So Khaled and Normani surprised me because Normani's also from a member of Fifth Harmony. And she had her little sexy dance routine that she did. I was like, hey, girl, I didn't know she had that in her.
I didn't see that. I need to check that out, man.
And she's cute. She's got a nice little body and everything. She did it though.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like she was trying to outdo Camila.
You think so?
Yeah. It's a little.
That's cool though. Let them go head to head. You know what I mean? With a little sexiness,
our entertainment,
right? Especially for us guys, if you're sexy,
hey, Normani.
you're doing it.
Call me.
Uh-oh. You don't mean that.
I don't.
If she called you, you wouldn't do nothing. Hey, I like your music. Okay, bye. Yeah, that's as far as that would go.
Lies.
But what stuck out to me was Salt and Pepper and In Vogue. It's always cool to see the cats from back in the day, the old school, and
Spinderella.
Yeah, with Spinderella. It's really good to see them, at a later age in a different era, still being able to perform and their music still being somewhat relevant. Everybody can recognize their music. So that was dope. And the Icon Award went to Janet Jackson this year.
Yes.
Which was awesome because she was the first Black female artist to receive the BIllboard Icon Award.
And very well deserved.
Oh, I agree 100%. And of course, there are other Black female artists that, are deserving of this honor, but for Janet Jackson to be the first one to get it, I'm totally okay with that.
Me
she
too.
Definitely deserves it. She did a bang up job with her performance, right?
She looked amazing.
She does.
She's 52. Like
52.
hashtag goals.
I thought she was older than that. You know,
Let's not say how much older you thought she was.
Maybe I was thinking about Mike, but I thought she was older than 52. But even saying that, her body,
it's amazing.
it looks good at 52.
Hashtag
that should
goals.
be a goal, right?
Hashtag goals.
That's a goal to look like Janet at 52.
Yes, without plastic surgery.
Well, you know. I don't know why they did that to themselves, but you know, they did it. But you know, she still looks good. But Janet Jackson, yeah, she got the Icon Award. Very deserving of it. The performance was awesome. She danced for like, I don't know, 6-8 minutes straight. She still has it, you know, with the mic. You know, she wasn't really singing too much, but you know, she was still performing. Really yeah, she wasn't that type of performer. She was more of a dancer. But you know, it's just like I guess when Beyonce goes up, you know, and she's doing all of her dances and stuff, you know, she still says a few things, you know, on her little mic that sits on her face, you know, but for the most part, you're watching the performance.
No. Beyonce can sing her ass off when she's dancing.
She can?
Yeah. Like she trains for that though.
How do you do that?
So what she does is like when she's running and exercising, she's singing while she's doing it.
To kind of get that control, I guess. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because of course, Beyonce has a huge voice, so I guess that makes sense. You gotta, because she can dance her ass off too.
Yeah.
But you got to show that voice as well. So that, I guess that makes sense. But Janet doesn't have that type of voice, but she can definitely groove like Beyonce.
Yeah.
She still got it. So congratulations to Janet Jackson on that Icon Award. That was really huge.
Did you get to watch your girls, Christina and Demi?
Oh, you know what? I forgot all about that. I did watch them. Yeah. You know, the performance I wasn't too big on.
About them.
You know, more so Christina Aguilera, but Demi Lovato, I guess, you know, because I'm familiar with her earlier work, and to see her now, you know, I just respect her craft, you know, so much more now. And of course, Christina Aguilera.
Demi's story too.
What's her story?
So she used to be a drug addict, and so she recovered and has been sober for some time now. But she went through that. Yeah,
she was a drug addict.
Yeah,
Demi Lovato.
Yes, when she was younger.
Like prescription pills or what?
I'm not sure what kind.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's many forms of drug addiction, but I'm sure hers was like a light one.
So I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But when she was a judge or coach on X Factor, I think it was that she was on, that's when she kind of like revealed her story and the struggles that she went through when she was younger. So
I didn't know that.
I have a lot of respect for her that too. And then she went through a lot of like body image issues as well when she was younger. So yeah,
because she's definitely taking care of herself now. You know, if she got over drug addiction and now she's I think she does MMA. She works out a lot, pretty much, but she's doing MMA also, you know, which is pretty cool. And, you know, Christina Aguilera, you know, she's doing a new thing, too, with the whole, like, bare face, not...
I'm so glad she's doing that.
Are you really?
Because, man, like, when she first started doing the voice, I was like, girl, who is doing your makeup?
Much, right?
Yeah, like,
too
it was
much.
just, yeah. I love Christina in her natural state.
Yeah, you know, and... She looks so much better to me now. She looked good back then, of course, but now she looks so much better to me now. And the voice is still there.
That
voice
woman can sing
strong.
her ass off.
Yeah.
It did turn into like a little belting competition
between the two?
her and Demi. And I'm just like, okay.
Well, you got to, you know, they both got you know.
They can, but, you know, at the beginning, okay, one or two going back and forth. Cool. Thank you. Show us your craft. But they just kept going and going. And I was like, all right, ladies, we know you can sing. That's enough now.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot to even mention them. Thanks, though. But, you know, yeah, the Billboard 2018 Billboard Music Awards was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. If you haven't checked it out, at least go to YouTube and check out the performances.
They're all there.
Yeah, they all did really good, you know.
Yeah.
So, wow, this one went by kind of fast.
Yeah.
We're not going to say what the original one did. This is the second. This is the second take, actually, folks. The first one I messed up. I recorded.
Don't tell them.
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I won't even go into detail. But the second take is much better than the one from the previous one. So before we end it all, I got a little Wit It or Quit It. You familiar with the rules? Okay.
I'm a fan of your show. Come on now. Give me some credit.
That's what's up. All right, so anal pleasures.
Oh, Lord.
Are you with it or quit it?
I'm going to have to go with quit it.
Okay, why is that?
I mean, I've done it before, right? I'm sure we all have at some point. But like before, I feel like when I did it, it wasn't for my pleasure. It was for his.
Oh, because it was his idea.
It was,
I got you.
Or not even necessarily his idea. Like, it's not like he presented it to me like, hey, you want to do this? No, like it happened naturally, but it was me doing it for him.
I got you.
It wasn't me saying like, oh, yes, I want to do this.
Yeah.
No.
That's not your thing.
That's not my thing.
I got you.
And, some women like it, but I'm not one of them.
I got you. That's cool. Me, myself, I'm not with it either. Quit that shit. Been there, done that.
That shit.
Been shitted on. And
oh, that's gross.
ever since then, I'm just not a fan. That.
I've definitely never shit on anybody.
Well, round of applause for you,
Thank you.
for never taking the shit on somebody for going that route, because it happens, man. Sometimes it comes out clean, sometimes it comes out with shit, and just to get that whiff of that, it turned me off, and I haven't done it in many years. I'm okay with not ever doing that again.
Yeah.
All right. So on another spectrum, what about annual hall passes for your spouse? Are you with it or quit it?
Annual? Quit it. Quit that shit. Wade. Annual, no. If it was every couple years, I might be with it. But
okay, I can see that.
There's rules involved, though. Hold on. There's rules, okay?
There's always
the caveat,
rules.
right?
Okay.
So, one, it depends on how good my husband has been for the last couple years, right? We need some transparent
communication. So if he was a good little boy.
If he was a good little boy and he has earned himself, a hall pass, then I may consider it, right? And we also have to be transparent about like how we feel about shit and things that may be going on outside of the relationship.
Okay, that makes sense.
2.
Oh, there's more.
Yes, there's more.
Wait. There's more.
If I'm giving you a hall pass, it's got to be with somebody you're never going to speak to again. Like, you can't go fuck somebody and then have them involved in our relationship in any kind of way. Like, I don't want you to keep in contact with them. Y'all don't need to be friends on social media.
Right.
None of that shit. Quit it.
I got you. Quit that part.
Hit it and then quit it.
That makes sense, man, because, it for me, I would give my spouse an annual hall pass, maybe even more than annual.
Baby.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little different when it comes to that. But I totally agree with not keeping a relationship with whomever it was.
Yeah.
If anything, you can hire somebody for those situations.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. If you got the means to support that, go ahead and hire somebody.
If you are never going to see the bitch again, it is okay.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, so next up we got Will Smith's rap comeback. Did you see that?
Yes.
Are you with it or quit it?
I'm gonna say quit. I'm with Will Smith, but I'm gonna say quit it to the comeback.
Nah, so you said you're with.
I'm with
Will Smith.
With Will Smith. Yes.
Yeah. I could tell by the way you said with.
Yes.
I'm with it.
Yes.
I got you.
All the way.
But not the rap.
Not the rapping.
Yeah.
I think he needs to let that part go. Stick to acting. You're really good at it.
He's very good at acting.
Not saying that he's a bad rapper, but I think his era has passed.
Yeah, I think when you become a certain age, the rap should not be a part of your life anymore. Like a lot of times rappers, their goal is to retire.
Right.
And not rap anymore, and maybe, like help the up and coming rappers.
Right.
But
be involved in the industry in some way. Yeah. And his son's a rapper, so just let your son do it.
Yeah.
Don't steal his shine.
Kid, right. But I'm kind of half and half. I'll say I'm with it, just simply because what he was saying, was pretty cool, and the production behind it, the beat was was pretty cool as well. It was like, definitely an East Coast flavor to that type of track. But he did his thing, for him being who he is and his age, he did his thing, but it's not something that I'm going to stream on Google Play or iTunes,
Right.
100 times,
I'd rather just keep watching the
You just look at it,
beginning
right?
scene of iRobot when he's in the shower naked. Thank you.
Right.
The ladies know what I'm talking about.
I bet they do. Hell, I even know what you're talking about. I ain't gonna lie. So, but yeah, man, I'm with it, man. But at some point, the rap has to end. It has to. And he hasn't rapped in many years. So,
No.
him coming back, that was cool. But I was cool just seeing that one time and leaving it at that.
If he's gonna post a video or something of him rapping, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air
Yeah.
song, I'm
You
cool with that.
right?
That I understand.
I hear you.
But not new stuff. Just let it go.
Yeah,
let
I
it go. Let it go.
All right. We got a touchy one possibly. And it's the last one.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard getting the max contract option from the San Antonio Spurs. Wit it or quit it?
So I have a lot of feelings about Kawhi right now that I'm sure I'll get over at some point.
Well, elaborate.
So I'm a huge Spurs fan. And the reason I'm a huge Spurs fan is because of the way the team functions together.
Right.
It's a very humble group of athletes that are led by the amazing Pop, of course.
Yeah.
And they just, they keep their head, above water, and they play off of fundamentals, and they don't stir the pot.
Right.
Until Kawhi Leonard came along.
Yeah.
And what he did this year and how everything was handled and the way it was presented, because we don't really know what really happened, but the way it was presented, I mean, I have so many questions about what the team dynamic is going to be like if he's still a Spur.
Yeah.
With that said, we do need him. We do need a player
Big
like
time.
him.
Big time.
He brings a lot to the success of the team. So I'm going to have to take a page from your first guest's book and say or. I'm going to go with or. I'm not with it, and I'm not going to quit it.
Got you. I'm all the way with it, despite what happened this season, with his absence from the team and him not being supportive, and, I don't know if he was lying about still being injured or not agreeing with the team's doctors, all of that. Despite all of that, I understand the business side, and he's definitely top 3 best player in the world.
Yes.
You
Agreed.
got Bron, you got Kevin Durant, then you got Kawhi Leonard. So for him, I think he was getting, $28 million over 4 years, which this was the last year of that contract. So he sat it out this year. He got better. He didn't really support his team. So I see why you got mixed feelings behind that, because that's not the Spurs culture.
Exactly.
But he has that talent to where he deserves the max contract, and the max is $219 million over 5
Jesus
years.
Christ, that's a lot of money.
All right, that's a ton of money. Nobody in the NBA can make more than that. If you think LeBron makes more than that, it's impossible. That's all around the league. $219 million in 5 years. Now, whatever you make outside of the NBA,
Right.
the sky's the limit. And I think that was the issue, and why he had new management under his uncle was he wants to chase the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wants that bag, and he definitely deserves it. And I see that San Antonio was not the market for him to get the biggest bags possible. So I get it. But if he likes the organization, he should absolutely stay. The Spurs will take care of him. The fans will take care of him. They'll love him. And but he definitely deserves the 219 over 5. So I'm with it.
And even with my feelings, I'm sure, if he played and the team dynamic was fine, I'd get over it.
Right.
I mean,
Especially if
I
we
might
went
still
back
go
to the
buy a
playoffs.
jersey. Right.
Yeah. So
But he's got to stay healthy too, though. That's a big
yeah,
one.
that's true. That's true. A hard thing to do in the NBA, a hard thing to do in sports, period, to stay healthy. But especially in professional sports, man, that level of intensity, staying healthy it's a task. You really got to take care of yourself. So yeah, if he stays with the Spurs, we need him to stay healthy. No more ankle injuries, no more thigh contusions.
Yeah.
None of that crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it, man. This is what time it is, episode 3. Thank you for joining me for the
Thank you for having me.
second time, technically.
Technically.
We're
gonna get technical, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, there's Teresa Music. You want to tell people how they can check out your podcast or look you up?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on social media on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, not Facebook.
Oh, I'm about to say
Instagram,
that's a new one.
Snapchat, and
Okay.
Twitter at Teresa Music, TRESAMUZIK. But check out Peaches and Cream. We're on the same platforms as What Time It Is.
Yep.
Just search Peaches, the letter N, Cream, and you can find us. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Peaches, the letter N, Cream, SF, as in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Born and bred.
Right.
But thank you so much for having me.
Hey, not a problem.
Again.
Again. And
Shout out to Philly and Ashley. Hi, girls.
I know. Hey, Phil, Ash. And I'm sure you'll be on the show again.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you'll be back. So
Maybe we'll get you on Peaches and Cream one of these days.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Are you with it or you quit it?
I'm with it. I'm with being on.
I don't know if you can handle all 3 of us anymore, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And they do the whole Instagram live thing,
We
so
do.
I don't
We
know.
do.
I don't know how I'll be able to handle that. I'm still having trouble with getting stuff posted on YouTube. It's ridiculous, but
Let me handle that. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, so if you're looking for my show, of course, it's on iTunes, Snapchat. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Google Play.
Yeah, and on Google Play, you got to search through it. Type in what time it is, not the question what time is it. Type in what time it is, and you got to scroll down. There's a lot of content with that title. So just scroll, and you'll find it. You'll see my picture up there with the WTII.
You'll see his pretty little face.
You see my
there.
ugly mug there.
Whatever.
She's being nice.
He's being very
But
modest.
yeah, once you come across it, just click on it, man. Take a listen. I hope you enjoy it. This is definitely a new journey for me, and I'm going to keep bringing you content once a week. You can catch me on Instagram. That's it. I don't do that other shit, man. Instagram at _WTII_.
Until he changes it again.
Right. I might change it again, but I think I'm going to leave it at this. I'm trying to find something that's easy, and
Yeah.
the couple of ones that I had, they're not too easy, but I think this one is, even if you just type in WTII, I think it should pop up. You just got to scroll a little bit, but there isn't. It's like 2 people or 3 people with, WTII in their handle. So I'm easy to find, man. Anyway, I post all kind of stuff. I post music. I post, artwork. I post pics, of course. You got to do it. What else is Instagram for? But also, I give you details on what's coming up on the upcoming episodes. So if you like the iPod, man, if you like the iPod, if you like the, what is it called again? What's this?
Podcast.
If you like the podcast, give it a like, man. Give it a listen. Give it a thumbs up. I'm going to post these videos on YouTube. So, leave your comments, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Subscribe on all platforms if you want to, man. This show's just going to get better. So, again, this is episode 3. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.